Amanda. I have been drinking Pure Therapeutic Ketones for, almost 3.5 years now. It's been amazing for our family. Thank you so much for hopping on today. It looks like we do have some stuff going on in the chat. Some people are chiming in there about some of their favorite benefits of our ketones. So we will hop over there in just a minute. It looks like everyone is muted and we are recording this today, which is awesome. I know that we had a lot of people that wanted to hop on that weren't able to. They have family stuff going on today, and so this will be great. So again, my name's Amanda. I have been drinking ketones for about 3.5 years. I was introduced to these from a friend who was posting on social media, and I had no idea what Pure Therapeutic Ketones were. I just knew that if this was something that she was involved with, maybe I should check into it too. So when I messaged her, she said she had no idea about the science behind this stuff. She just knew that she felt really good and they tasted great. So I just went off of that. I talked to my husband about it, and we started doing a little bit of research about the keto lifestyle. We didn't really know what keto was at the time. We had never heard of ketones before. So we just started playing around on Facebook. We found the Pruvit corporate Facebook page, and we saw a really incredible positive community. And so honestly, that was one of the things that really struck us as something that we wanted to be a part of. So once we started drinking ketones, we had gotten a 10-day experience. We had a good energy throughout the day. Our cravings for carbs and sugar had basically disappeared, and our appetite control was great. My husband was working out of state like 4 or 5 days a week, and so he wasn't sleeping great at the time. So that was something that he had really noticed had improved fairly quickly as well. So I want to really highlight some of our friends that are on today, teachers. I think that this is going to be a great opportunity for you guys to hear from them. Some of them have been drinking ketones for just a few months, and some of them have been drinking ketones almost as long as I have. So Krista Robinson, are you on the call?
I am now. I've had internet issues and I have been trying to get on, and I'm like, where is everybody?
Well, I can hear you loud and clear. So if you want, if you can go ahead and just tell us a little bit about your experience with the products first and foremost. Like, how did you find out about it? And what have you experienced since you've been drinking them?
All right, I'm trying to get you guys on the stand real quick. Okay, it's not going to work. Anyways, hi, my name is Krista, and I am tuning in from Arlington, Texas. I have been drinking ketones for almost 3 years. I am a sports mama. We are in the middle of a basketball tournament out in this rainy weather, so our morning started at the crack of dawn. Holiday breaks don't exist with sports moms. And I'm just a sports mom. I've been teaching pre-K, longer than I can even begin to count. But I was just the type that woke up feeling defeated in the past before ketones. I would always wake up tired. I would just have my goal, can I make it to lunch? Can I make it to 3 o'clock when school's out? Can I make it to dinner? Can I make it to bedtime? And how many of you can relate, once you've made it to bedtime, you felt like you struck gold, you felt like you accomplished all things, whether you did your to-do list or not. That was me. And I started drinking ketones after stalking a friend who he just really started showing up. His face was glowing, his energy was glowing. And I was like, what is this dude doing? Where all of a sudden is this coming from? And so I reached out to him and he's like, what do you know about ketones and ketosis? And I'm like, sign me up. Have any of you guys ever done the whole Atkins phase? I did it 14 years ago prior to kids, and I loved how I felt. However, for me, the diet was hard. Without kids, I could rock it. But with kids now, come on, especially when I'm with my school kiddos and they're eating lunch, there's no way. And so I was like, sign me up. And I started drinking my first drink and I got hooked. And I literally personally signed up for fat loss. That's what I thought my goal was at the time. And within a matter of week, guess what? My co-teachers were coming to me saying, what are you doing? Because your classroom is rocking and your energy is just vibrating. Like, we totally can see and sense that there's been a shift in your classroom. What are you doing different? And it didn't hit me until I had my coworkers telling me this, that my energy was awful before ketones. Like, I thought like that was just part of getting older. That was part of mom life. That was part of being a teacher. Like, we're just supposed to be tired and on that struggle bus. And when my co-teachers really brought it to my attention, I was like, wow, I truly was lacking energy and I did not realize it. And so I drink ketones daily, not for the fat loss, but for the energy, because I have to chase circles around my 3 kids. We just got a puppy. And then I teach pre-K. Like, 4 and 5-year-olds, they're a lot.
I love that. So when you incorporate ketones,
why are you two on the tablet?
Just a sec. Thanks, Nick. We had somebody come off mute. So when you incorporate ketones into your day, are they simple for you? Like, where do you fit them in? Do you drink them first thing in the morning? Do you drink them throughout the day? Where do you fit them into your schedule?
I'll be honest, I love that you could have 10 people in a room drinking ketones. They're A, drinking a different flavor, B, drinking at a different time of day, and C, mixing them up completely different ways. And that's what I love. When I first started drinking ketones, like, my biggest challenge was that 3-4 o'clock hurdle. Like, I would have to come home after teaching all day, and my kiddos knew Mama needed to take a nap before I could either A, go through a drive-through and get dinner because I was still so tired to cook dinner, or B, to get my booty up off the couch and cook dinner. And so when I first started drinking ketones, I drank them about 11 o'clock. I would drink them 30 minutes to an hour before lunch. Now, I don't even know who this girl is because I wake up at 4 a.m. to go give myself an hour in the gym before I start my day. And that's huge. I do it because I feel amazing after I've gotten in an hour of workout. So I will drink my Blue Ocean about 4:30 in the morning and use it as my pre-workout. And that just really gets my day rocking and rolling. Now, ketones don't exist until my feet hit the floor. Like, when my feet hit the floor, like, ketones have to be going down my esophagus. Like, nothing else matters until Mama's gotten her ketones. And so I drink them then. But I always tell people, drink them 30 minutes before you want to feel awesome. You know, I'm hooked on them. So they have to be in my body as soon as my feet hit the floor.
I love that. Thank you for sharing, Krista. I know we have a lot of people on the call that have no idea what ketones are. Like I was saying earlier, when I first found out about them, I had no idea what they were. I didn't know if they were a powder. I didn't know if it was something in a can. I had no idea. So if you're new to ketones, if you're brand new to this conversation, it really is simple. It's just a powder that you mix with water and ice and you drink it a couple times a day. And we have about 1 million flavors. They all taste amazing. So thank you, Krista, for hopping on and sharing your experience with ketones. Next, we've got Molly. Molly, are you on the line?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, I can. So funny story, Molly is actually one of my neighbors. She lives right down the street from me. So Molly, can you share a little bit about your experience with ketones as a teacher and as a cheer coach?
Yeah, so my name is Molly. I'm from Ohio. Like Amanda said, we are neighbors. We didn't know it until we both kind of found out we were going to do the ketone journey together. So that was fun. I teach first grade students. This is my 7th year of teaching, and I actually teach in the district that I graduated from. So I get to work with a lot of people that taught me. So it's kind of fun to see that come full circle. And I am the cheerleading coach for my middle and high school. I've been doing that for about 4 years now. And then I have a son named Micah who will be 2 on New Year's Day. So there is a lot of things happening in our world over here. I had no clue what ketones were when I first found out about them. I didn't know what ketosis was. There was a KLP that was hosted at my gym, and that's just kind of like a taste test, essentially, where we have people that know about ketones and have samples that you can try. And I'm typically very picky about those things. I don't like to spend money on things that I don't know I will 100% like. So going to the KLP was definitely a good first step for me. Luckily, I was able to try 4 or 5 flavors, and I was shocked because I liked all of them, which is kind of rare for me when I try something new like that. They had the video going too that kind of showed what ketosis was and how your body gets into it. And just this little bit of education was kind of what I needed to think, how could this help my hectic life? And at this point, this was about 3 months ago. So I've only been drinking ketones for 3 months. But at that point, I had a student teacher in my classroom. And so I was trying to manage the stress of not just teaching her, but teaching my kids, and then the regular stress that comes with coaching and momming. And I was a little bit hesitant about trying something new right then. I thought, this is just one more thing I'm going to add to my plate. I'm going to have to figure out when I'm going to do it. But then I learned that the ketones would most likely improve all of these different pieces of the puzzling world that I was living in at the time. And all I had to do was drink something twice a day. So I went home that night and I bought 1 box of the flavor that I liked the most from the taste testing. And I started drinking it twice a day for 10 days. And I honestly didn't see much of a difference. I thought maybe I had a little bit more energy, but I didn't really see any huge changes. I hadn't ordered any more ketones either. I wasn't really sure how I felt about it. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be a big difference for me, enough for me to buy another one. But it wasn't until I was 24 hours out from having my last drink. And that's when I noticed what they were truly doing for me. I was less patient with my kiddos in my class, with my husband and my son. And I was craving those little snacks that we all know are always lingering in the teacher's lounge. We have parents that drop stuff off and things that people bake left over from the weekend or whatever. So that's when I knew, oh yeah, this is going to work for me. You don't know what you got till it's gone kind of thing. So on my next order, I got my husband on board. We both got a 10-day challenge so we could try different flavors. But once again, we kind of flopped and we didn't order more to be there by the time that our challenge was done. And there was one situation, we were at a restaurant and he kind of like got a little snippy with me about something. And I said, you need ketones. And he just looked at me and was like, oh my gosh, we do. We need to order some because I'm starting to pick up on these little things that I'm not doing anymore when I drink them. And now they're back all of a sudden since we ran out. So I just kept thinking, if I could improve my life and my attitude that I put out into the world and make a positive shift for myself and my family by drinking 2 things a day, why wouldn't I want to do it? So one of my big things for 2020 is just continuing to put this out there for other people, mostly my coworkers, because these are teachers. These are the people that are putting in the long hours. They're working with children right alongside me. And most of all, they're my friends. So if I found something that's working so well for me and my family, I'm not going to be greedy about it. I want to share that with them and make sure that they know that this is out there and this is something that can benefit them like it has done for me.
I love that. I love that you can refer people even as a customer so that they can earn product credit too. We've got a bunch of different ways for people to get started. Like you had said, you went to a KLP and you taste tested some flavors and you were like, oh my gosh, I wasn't so sure that I would love these, but I actually liked all of them. Or you can purchase the 5-day, or you can get on board with a 10-day challenge. And I actually love the challenge because it comes with a free gift too. You get to try out a couple different products along with that 10-day challenge. So I'm glad that you had mentioned that earlier. I love that you're so happy and that you guys are feeling so great. It's fun to see Mitch come out of his shell too, because you had told me that he wasn't really posting on social media before he had found ketones. And this is something that he's really excited about too. So I love the fact that you're both on board with this and that you guys are drinking them together. It looks like Belinda is up next. Belinda, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Hey, I can hear you loud and clear. Belinda has been drinking ketones for what, about 2 years now?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so Belinda, I'm going to go ahead and have you share your experience. You are a mom who has 4 kids at home that are under the age of 7, and you're a teacher. Tell me all about it.
So I am not your traditional teacher. As you can see, I don't work in a brick and mortar classroom. I don't have a teaching degree or a teaching certificate. My degree is in clinical psych. And about 5 years ago, my husband decided that he needed to totally change his life, and he took a 70% pay cut to be a state trooper. And for the first 2 years of that journey, we lived out of our savings account, and life was really hard. It was a struggle. And one day I trusted a stranger in a breastfeeding group. And welcome to VIP Kid, where I became a teacher. The problem though is I teach on Beijing time because I teach kids English that live in China. But I am a mom of 4 children, I homeschool, and a wife of a state trooper on Eastern Standard Time. So that's a huge difference. And before Ketones, I really struggled. I'd get up, I would teach for 4 or 5 hours in the morning before my family got up. My family would get up, I would hang out with them for about a half hour, and then I would go back to bed. Then I would get up and my husband would go to work. And then I would make it till bedtime. I would have to teach for 4 or 5 hours, and then the cycle would happen again. And it really took a toll on our marriage because I became more resentful because I wasn't able to be the mom I wanted to be. I wasn't able to be the wife I wanted to be. We contemplated putting our kids back in public school because I was like, when am I going to be able to educate our own children? Because I'm not awake enough during the day. I don't have any energy. I was just very negative. And we saw a friend that was posting about ketones every day. And I am that person that I'm the science behind it. So I've done all the research before we bought. I followed all the doctors on social media that formulated them. I've read the studies, and I was like, I think we have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And we jumped in, and it took a while for my husband to get on board, but we weren't in the same place in life at that time. And I don't have a fat loss story. My husband has an incredible one. But for me now, like, we live our lives full of purpose. I get up in the morning, I teach for 4 or 5 hours. I go downstairs. My husband has made my kids a full homemade breakfast. We homeschool our kids together. We get to do activities and spend a couple hours together. My husband goes to work. I continue to parent our children until bedtime. Most evenings I teach again before I go to bed. And so what has been the biggest thing for us is I think it's been the mental clarity of being able to understand why my husband gave up his 6-figure income for a 70% pay cut, and that was to follow his purpose in life. So for us, we feel like the ketone conversation is part of our purpose. We feel like sharing what we have overcome in our lives and sharing our story of how we homeschool our kids and how we manage the life that we do on his salary, and how we live a very keto lifestyle and we cook homemade meals together in the kitchen as a family is what we're most excited about, is sharing all of that with as many people as we can.
I love that. I love that for your family, it really is a family project or a family goal. You guys use a really low carb or keto lifestyle, and with our products, that's not a requirement, but I love that you guys have really taken it to the next level and have incorporated that for your entire family. It's been really fun to watch you over the last almost 2 years just flourish, and you're so positive, and I don't know how you get all this stuff done throughout the day. I love your story though. So thank you for sharing. I really appreciate you hopping on. I love that your business model in life really is different. You know, you're doing Pruvit, which is a different kind of business opportunity. You're doing VIP Kid, which is a different opportunity. And then your husband, he's got his own story, and we'll save that for another day. So thank you for hopping on and sharing with us. We really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
Next up, we've got Christy Moody. Christy, are you on?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
You are a little hard to hear. Sounds like the volume might be down just a little.
Go to the next person. I'm going to take my phone off the case.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to skip over Christy for a minute, and we're going to hop over to Sue. Sue, are you on the line?
Hi, I'm right here.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. I am really excited to hear your story. So if you can share a little bit about what you've experienced with the products, and then maybe even a little bit about the business with Pruvit. Like I was saying earlier, we've got a great opportunity for customers to be able to earn product credit, and then you've kind of taken it to the next level with a business as well. So if you can maybe tap into a little bit of that, that would be great.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, my story is, I feel like my Pruvit story is more about the business, because although I love the product, it's, you know, we all know how amazing it is. And yes, it helps me with patience in the classroom, and it helps me be a better mom, be a better teacher, have more mental clarity. I lose my walkie-talkie and classroom keys way less now. Like I could go on and on, like fat loss, like I didn't have a fat loss story, but I could go on and on about the product and how amazing my health is now versus 2.5 years ago, which it was still pretty good then. But anyhow, the biggest thing that Pruvit's done for me is really, you know, changed my trajectory as far as my story. So when I started, it was actually Heather Calvin was my room mom. I don't know if you guys know who Heather is, but she's in Pruvit, and she was my room mom, and she reached out to me. She had been signed up through Jody Scheibe, who I think we all know and love. Hey, Jody. Hey, Britt. And I had actually taught Jody's son, you know, years ago. And so I knew Jody. I knew that she was doing something because she was driving a Tesla, you know, through our school drop off and pick up. And I'm like, what the heck is she doing? And then Heather Calvin comes to me and she's like, Sue, you know, I know how into your health and wellness you are. You know, you got to try this product. And at the time, she also knew I was really struggling as a single mom on a teacher's salary. So, anyhow, I'm always up for trying anything, especially if it's going to help me with, you know, all the things that ketones help us with. And so I tried it, and immediately I was like, the Christmas lights went on the tree. You know, I was like, dang, this is freaking awesome. So I knew that product was great. I'm not a skeptic, you know, I just was like, I was sold on that. But you know, Jody and Heather really, you know, started explaining the business model to me. And I've never done anything other than teach. I mean, I'm in my 20th year teaching, and that's just all I've done. You know, tutoring on the side to make ends meet, and doing camps during the summer, but nothing else, you know, like this ever before in my life. So anyhow, I just basically was like, I'm in, tell me what to do. You know, I charged my promoter pack. I was living off credit cards at the time. Teachers get paid once a month. And so by the 10th of the month, my money was literally gone, you know, as a single mom, paying for braces and sports, competitive sports, everything, with not a lot of child support at all, or pretty negligible. And so, so I was like, Jody, tell me what to do. You've clearly been super successful at this. I want to do what you're doing. So I just hit the ground running, and really, I mean, long story long, I mean, I just paid for my second set of braces, you know, driving a Land Rover, you know, as a teacher. You know, I have a teacher friend at my school who's, you know, driving her fat BMW, paid for by Pruvit too. Like this business model, I don't mean to throw the cars in there, but it's like, I never thought as a single mom that I would be driving a nice car. And, but really it's just lifted that stress of living off of credit cards. That if you've ever done it and not knowing, you know, how you're going to make ends meet, and not knowing, you know, how, you know, going to the grocery store and having to either put things back or just bust out your credit card and not care about that. Because when I was growing up, my mom was a single mom, and, you know, she wasn't able to pay for sports, and she wasn't able to pay for dance anymore. So all those things kind of went by the wayside for me. And then I went down a whole nother road. So for me as a mom, I was like, I am not, if I have to charge, you know, competitive soccer, which if any of you guys do it or your kids do it, no, it's like $1,700 a season, and competitive dance, all that stuff costs a lot of money. But I wasn't gonna take those things away. So Pruvit really allowed me to be able to provide for my family without stressing over how I'm going to pay for things. And so that's been a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. And yeah.
I love that you have a successful business story, and you had mentioned something about getting started with a package. The really neat thing is, as a promoter, it's $37 as an annual fee plus whatever products you want to come into the business with. So I love the fact that it is so simple for people to come into this. And it's really just about sharing your experience with our products and talking to as many people as you can. So thank you very much for sharing your business story. We really appreciate it. I really like that story. We'll have to connect after this Zoom. So next up, hey, Christy, are you still on the line?
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Thanks for hopping on. So I know, Christy, you've had amazing success with the products and using a low carb and keto lifestyle. And you've also became a part of the business as well. So can you tap just real briefly into some of your health benefits that you've experienced with our products?
For sure. So I'm a special education teacher. So a lot of my time and energy and patience is used at work. And then I come home and I have 4 kids. So I have a 13-year-old daughter, 11-year-old son, and 2 6-year-old twin boys. So I come home to a demanding household as well. So for me, I came to the product for energy and fat loss. I've always kind of been the fluffy girl. I've been the one that has tried, if there's been a diet out there, I've tried it, I've done it, and I'm the one that would stick with it, and then a couple months in, I'd be right back down and I'd gain it back plus some, right? We all know that, plus some. So right about 2 years ago, the whole New Year's resolution, I was looking for that New Year's resolution to be a better mom, be more engaged with my kids and not coming home and just laying on the couch saying, go play. And of course I wanted fat loss. So I started drinking the product, and within a week, I knew this was for me. My kids were more happy. I was more happy. I was more engaged with them. I wasn't laying on the couch. I was outside playing with them. Just my energy and my mood was what I could tell a huge difference in the beginning. But by continuing to drink the product and plug into our community and learn more, I don't do a keto diet. I do low carb, and I drink ketones daily. And it took me right about a year, and I've lost 115 pounds. And then I've maintained that, which for me, that's huge. I've maintained it for another year.
Hold on, time out there, Christy, time out. How many pounds have you lost in how long?
So I started drinking them in 2018, January of 2018. It took me right at a year. So by January of 2019, I had lost 115 pounds.
Christy.
And then now we're almost to January 2020, and I've maintained it. I'm glad to say we made it through the holidays, and I'm still maintaining. So I drink my ketones daily. I drink them in the morning, every morning religiously. I get up, and that's my breakfast. I eat a small snack in the middle of the day before lunch if I'm hungry. I eat lunch, and then if I have a really busy afternoon with the kids and I need that energy in the afternoon, I'll drink another one in the afternoon. So I don't do a hard, strict keto diet. I drink my ketones daily. It keeps my appetite in control. It keeps my energy up for my job and for my family. It makes me happy. So that's how I do it. I drink it every morning, no matter what. If I'm out of town, it goes with me. It's my morning drink of choice.
Holy moly. That is an incredible testimony. I don't even know what to say. Just the fact that you have so much energy and you're feeling amazing and you're sleeping great and that you have more patience, those are all things that everybody can benefit from. So the fact that you're a teacher on top of that and you're able to get so much more accomplished, that's incredible. I'm really happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, so real quick, we're going to have Melissa Butler hop on. Melissa, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. So, Melissa, how long have you been drinking ketones? What have you experienced since you've been drinking them? And you have also jumped on board with the business opportunity here at Pruvit. Did you do that right off the bat, or were you a customer first? Kind of tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure, absolutely. I'll try to make it quick because I know we're getting close to time. But I started in January of 2018, just like Christy. And I was that person that was a huge skeptic. I watched my mom and my dad drink ketones for about 3 months, try to convince myself and my brothers to all try it. And we were like, no, we know what to do. We need to work out. We need to eat clean. We know what we need to do. However, at the time, I wasn't doing any of those things. I had my second child and she was 8 months old, hadn't lost the baby weight. I was an elementary school counselor at the time, struggling with getting zero sleep with a young baby, having energy to get to work, those kinds of things. And so finally I was sitting on the couch with my mom and she was like, sweetie, you just need to try it. Like, just drink it. I want you to drink it for 5 days and just see what happens. So I took 5 days worth of samples from her. And by day 3, I remember thinking to myself, and I even said to my husband, this has got to just be a coincidence. Like, I have to just have maybe slept better the last couple of days. But my energy was totally different. And by the end of the 5 days, I knew there was something to it because I just, like we've all said, the light bulb turned on. I was more focused at work. I think that was the biggest difference for me. As an elementary school counselor, especially in the district that I worked in, I had a lot of freedom. I could get in classrooms, I could see kids, I could pull groups. But if I needed to get things done in my office, I could also do that. But what I found was I had so much focused attention that I was getting so much more done in my day that instead of having to stay at work till 5:30, 6 o'clock and get my kids from daycare really late, I was able to leave right at the end of the day, get home, get my kids, and spend more time with them. And that was huge. So within a couple weeks, I did decide to go ahead and join as a promoter. And the reason was I was carrying around my shaker bottle at work and I had so many people saying, Melissa, what are you doing? Like, you just look brighter and happier and you're smiling again. You just seem to feel so good. And so within about a month, I had 4 or 5 friends at work that were drinking samples that I had given them. So I figured, you know what? If I can make a couple $100s a month sharing something that is making me feel so good, why not? I'm going to give it a try. So I paid the $37 and I worked with the samples that I had on hand. And I got some friends at work on ketones, and then they started sharing it with people, and it just began to kind of grow and blossom. And so I have done it part-time now for 2 years. And it has been the greatest blessing. Looking back now, my husband and I were just sitting down last night talking about our goals for 2020 and looking back at where I was 2 years ago when I started, and how just a couple $100s a month was a huge deal to me. Now I actually am a stay-at-home mom. This past May, I went ahead and decided to resign from my position as a school counselor. I loved what I did. It was my passion. But I was pregnant with my 3rd baby and decided, you know what? I think I want to take this time to spend more time with my kids at home. And the only reason I was able to make that choice was because of saying yes to the opportunity with Pruvit, because it had developed to a point that it brought in enough income that allowed me to take my kids out of full-time childcare. And having 2 children in full-time childcare, those of you who are on here who know, it was more than half my salary as a school counselor. And so it made more sense for me to come home and be available for my babies, and be a stay-at-home mom. So I was able to do that, and I drank ketones through my 3rd pregnancy, and my baby is 6 weeks old. She's 7 weeks old now. Oh my gosh, she's growing so fast. But she's 7 weeks old and she's thriving. I'm a breastfeeding mama drinking ketones, and it has just been absolutely amazing for myself and my family.
Oh, I love your story. That is so powerful. I love that you're so happy, and a 7-week-old baby, and you're this happy and bubbly and you've got so much energy. How incredible is that alone?
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that you and your husband sat down and did some goal setting together. I think that is really incredible and really powerful, especially with the new year coming up. It's a new decade. We don't get to say that very often, and this is a really good time to get started on a new journey, whether that's with a 5-day experience, with a 10-day challenge, or if you're just ready to jump on board as a promoter because you know so many people that can benefit from what we have here. Who do you know that can benefit from better energy, energy or better mood or better focus throughout the day. I love the fact that our kids can drink ketones. We have a 4-year-old and a 12-year-old. They both drink them. Our oldest has had better focus in school. So for us, that was super important. Everyone that you know can benefit from drinking ketones. And I think that that's why this ketone conversation and why this tool that we have is so powerful. So thank you again, everyone, for sharing your stories today. You all had different experiences with the products, and I love that you have even taken this to the next level and grown successful businesses with this. Even with Molly, who's been drinking ketones for 3 months, you know, she said she didn't notice a huge difference with her with drinking ketones for the first few days. And then the moment she stopped, she was like, oh my gosh, this is something that I really need. And everybody needs to have these as well. So if you're on this call and you were referred by someone else, please get back to the person that you referred to this call. They'll be able to talk to you a little bit about getting a 5 or 10-day experience in your hands, or maybe even learning a little bit more about the business, or even just referring people for product credit as a customer. So thank you again, everyone, for hopping on today. We really appreciate you, and we'll see you soon. Take care.